Welcome to Scott's Case Files. We're doing something a little different today. I've never actually done a one-shot stream, but we're doing it so that we can playtest Apocalypse Keys, which is hopefully coming out soon. And I think it's really good having looked over mostly instructions, most of the rule book. And with me today are my awesomest players. Over here, there you go. That's Brian, who is off camera right now. He's having a bad hair day.
Oh, I just look so awful. And I know you all want to laugh at it, but no.
No. You're denied your mirth again by Brian. No shock there at all.
We will laugh at you for being camera shy then.
Excellent.
Oh, man.
And then we have Jason over here. Longtime veteran now of Scott's Case Files.
Stay hydrated. It's a long stream.
Yes, as I point out every time, that really is water. I swear. He's
Given
Canadian,
how big it is and how much I drink, well, I mean, in theory, it could be American beer. It's the same thing, right?
Ooh, wow. We went there right away. Jeez. We didn't even wait. Didn't even wait for the rivalry. All right. And over here joining us is Jenna. I've gamed with Jenna once before, and I believe GM'd you in Urban Shadows, I think, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Urban Shadows, second edition, a cooler edition, arguably. So, and she's back for more. I don't know why. She just wanted to participate. So she's brave, she is smart, she is witty, and she is here to kick some booty because that's what this game is all about. That's what everybody's here for. So, Apocalypse Keys. Basically, in a nutshell, even as the author describes, it's a love letter to Hellboy and that genre. Basically, in this game, you have the Division, which is a semi-clandestine organization. It operates, in semi-clandestine, a little bit in the, a little bit top secret and a little bit out in the just wide open, with monsters as their main operatives. And these are not like concealable monsters. These are Hellboy type monsters who are identifiable as monsters. And these monsters are both able to create the apocalypse themselves if they don't hold back. And they're also able to help hold back the apocalypse. And the key part is, as the idea is, the players will gather keys of clues and use those keys to unlock the mystery and hopefully stop the end of the world. We hope. One would hope. I do have to ask the author, what happens when they fail? Inevitably. Is that the end? Are we just done? Do we pack up the campaign? I don't know. Maybe it's like a minor apocalypse, like, in Highlander, they decided this TV series was just a regional quickening, so maybe it's like a regional end of the world type of thing. We don't know, but we'll find out. As I've told the players, I am woefully unprepared. I've read a great deal of the rulebook. I tried to cram as much in there as possible. I don't have it all. So this is a great simulation for someone like picking it up and playing with their buds, which I'm doing. So yeah, so let's get started. I just want a few caveats before we kind of get things rolling. One of the agreements that I had to make with, I didn't have to. I mean, one of the agreements I made with the author and the company that's playtesting this is that we not show any materials at all. So I'm not even displaying. I usually display like the logo of the game. I'm not even doing that. I am not going to be, we're not going to be putting any of the PDFs we got out there. Nothing on stream at all. Beyond that, we're free to like read parts of it off, but just don't show it on stream. And so I'm good with that. I'm assuming everyone else is good with that. So just to caveat that it's going to be a visually generally uneventful thing, especially with Brian all non-camera'd up. But we'll kind of go from there. So let's get started, shall we? Shall. Excellent. So, I've asked my players to, and by the way, this is a one shot, but the player and I'm positioned up here only because this is kind of the no frills version of Scott's Case Files. I'm sorry, I have to prepare it real quick and etc. And I don't have a lot of setup time, blah blah blah, etc. So anyway, the players are still the stars of the show, even though I'm here up in their row. I'm invading their space that I usually reserve for players because the players are the stars. But here we are. So each of the players, I've asked them to basically kind of look over the various playbooks. By the way, this is powered by the Apocalypse game. I have to say it's very reminiscent of like a combination of like Urban Shadows, Masks, and I'm sure some others that just aren't occurring to me at the moment.
Thank you.
But yeah. So anyway, I've asked each of them to pick a playbook. So Jenna, which one did you end up going with?
I went with Fallen. So should I read
read
the little description?
Yeah, the general description, yeah. Just so we have an idea.
All right. I am a pale reflection of what I once was. I embody the hubris and volatility of the apocalypse. My power is faded, cracked, and deceitful. My heart yearns to worship and be worshipped.
God, that sounds like my daily life. But it's not. So
do I not worship you enough, Scott?
You have to bring your game up a little, Jason. You're falling behind.
I'm not worthy.
Yes, that's exactly how you should feel as a minion. But yeah,
I must drink more water to be worthy.
Yeah, let's drink more water. So, Jason, what did you end up choosing? And why don't you read that description for me? Oh no! Oh my gosh!
He's coming.
He's wearing the colander on the head again. Oh no, that's the Tardiz Fez. Good job.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Hiding his bad hair day. How you're doing that with headphones is impressive. Yes, Jason, go ahead. What's your playbook?
As the Shade, I have a special and personal relationship with death. I embody the coldness and the end of the apocalypse. My power is enlightening, coldly logical, and ephemeral. My heart yearns to guide and be guided.
Ooh, nice. Excellent. All right, Brian, how about you? What'd you pick as your playbook?
Okay, for my playbook, I went for The Summoned.
As a complete shock to everyone that knows you.
Okay, and to make this a little fun, we'll get a little in character for this. Hello, mon ami. I am Frank. I wear the crown of prophecy. I embody the promise and inevitability of the apocalypse. My power is blunt, aggressive, and demanding. My heart yearns to love and be loved.
Nice. Just like Brian in real life, also. Excellent. Cool. So those are the playbooks. Playbooks, for anyone not familiar. Again, I can't really do the teaching thing because we don't have a lot to show. I generally like to kind of like, my streams are all about teaching the game so others who watch the actual plays can get in on them and, enjoy the games themselves. But anyway, yeah, Part of the Apocalypse playbooks is kind of like a general idea of who you are, a general class outline with things you can do and can't do. And eventually, as you get more advanced, you can trade off with other playbooks, get powers from them, etc. So I'm going to have you all do this. Let's see here. So let's do this. So while why don't we do the character creation? I'll have you guys pick out your stuff. I'm sure you've probably held back until now and done the character creation and all that kind of good stuff. But if you haven't, go ahead and do that now. One cool thing about Powered by the Apocalypse is that it's obscenely easy to set up a character. Character creation can take as little as 2 minutes, depending on how you're doing it. So why don't you all go ahead and do your own characters. And as you guys are doing that, I'll kind of just go over quick, what do you call it? Some basic moves. So let's see. So, Powered by Apocalypse games have basic moves that are available to everyone, and they have generally playbook moves that are available via playbook, either your own or another, again, if you're advanced enough to share another. There's also what's called division moves. Division being, again, the group you work for. And they're for more or less, they're either contacts or artifacts that you have. These moves is what they boil down to. But yeah, so an interesting thing about Powered by Apocalypse, the basic moves tell you what the game is about, like what it cares about. So the moves are just several. Unleash the Dark. When you unleash the dark within you to enforce your will on someone, physically, socially, or emotionally, you spend darkness tokens and roll. We'll get to darkness tokens. So there's that. So basically, the game is interested in you not just, bowling someone over on a social, emotional, or physical level, but using your dark powers to do it, because you're all monsters. You're all monsters.
Speak for yourself. I am prim and proper.
Oh yeah, well this is literally the game. So that's that. So all right, so next we have Power Through Darkness. When you push limits of your supernatural power, strain to do the extraordinary or avert imminent danger, spend darkness tokens roll. So yeah, so that's like you have these supernatural powers that are pretty amazing, and this is pushing them to that next level. Reveal Your Heart is kind of that again I don't think I've seen all the Hellboy movies, but to a great portion, he beats a lot of people up, let's face it. But it's also about him trying to get a connection to others and love, or at least understanding or compassion, So revealing your heart is basically when you talk sincerely and connect to someone. This is a way you can potentially heal yourself of conditions. And this is that's kind of like masks where you have conditions, not like harm or anything like that. So you have Torn Between. When you're torn between your monstrous nature and your human heart, or when you're tempted by what the darkness demands of you, make a choice. And this is, you don't even roll on it. So basically it's like, you're a bad thing. You're a naughty monster, and you really, really want to be bad to the depths of your soul, and it takes everything to kind of not. So there are going to come points where you're torn, and you get to decide which way you go with it. Grasping keys. So the keys again are kind of like the clues that put together unlocking the door to figuring things out. So these are metaphorical keys, generally speaking, and they're basically searching for clues, investigating signs of the apocalypse, doing your dark powers to gather information. You'll get keys, and each key leads you to potential theories, which brings us to unlocking Doom's door. When you're ready to declare what the door is and how to unlock it, say what you believe it to be. So it's basically, as Jason pointed out prior to the game, I don't actually have an answer as to what the hell's going on as the game master, or the whatever they call it here, keeper. I do have control over the keys, so I can give you clues that give you ideas of things, but what you end up doing with them is really up to you. You will formulate a hypothesis, roll on it, and if you succeed, it's true. That's the answer. So yeah, and we'll get to division moves as we need them. But how's everybody doing on their character generation? Cool. Jason's good.
I think I'm good.
Excellent.
All done.
Jen's great.
I'm
Excellent.
good.
Awesome. Jen's great.
I'm all good.
All right, cool. So let's do a quick introduction of characters. Again, we have till 10. I want to squeeze in as much as we can, but I really do want to getting to understand who your characters are is part of this appreciation for this. So give us the lowdown, like the things you selected real quick, and just kind of let's give the not completely in-depth version. Go for that, Brian. Start with Brian. I'll pick on Brian.
Okay.
First.
All right. Frank is a cosmic horror that was given his name by accident.
Horror. Okay, horror.
His look is he has a trench coat that hides most of his monstrous form, and the thing that hints at him trying his best to be human is he wears a fez and a fake beard to cover his tentacles, and he has an empty and tarnished locket.
Ooh, interesting.
And Frank was summoned from the grasp of a cosmic horror that will remake us all, which is his mommy.
Oh my! Keep going.
The prophecy that haunts him is, I'm going to take all the nightmares that haunt humanity and paint a beautifully broken world from their fears. My powers of darkness are shadow control and weapons from elsewhere.
Ooh, nice. Cool.
Mm.
Anything else?
And then, should I say what the darkness demands of me?
Yes, please do. I need to know that. I don't know. Important information that your GM needs to know.
Okay. Well, what the darkness is demanding of Frank is to betray those who love him most. And to fall in love with the harbinger of the apocalypse. And so his starting move is, sometimes I get angry. So when I unleash the dark through anger and violence, I take 3 darkness tokens. But the power because you also get another power to start with, I chose borrowed power. Which is, I summon a creature from another world to help me.
Oh, that will be wonderful. I can only imagine. All right. Let's see here. Jenna, are you ready to go?
I am.
Ooh, tell us about your character.
My character is called Clarion. Her name was given to her with love by her god.
As you do.
She has a cracked halo that bleeds. And so you have these rivulets of blood that go down her face. They don't actually pool anywhere. They just constantly seem to be flowing. She has a multitude of wings made of light and sound, and eyes that cover her entire body. But she has very normal clothes. It's like t-shirt and jeans to try to really fit in.
Wow.
She was an angelic creature, but she was destroyed by her jealous god. And the gods that taunt her are the ancient gods who have lost their power to modern gods and ache for what is left of my divinity. So their relationship used to be good, and then she got more popular. And the gods tore her down.
As they do.
Her standard starting move is Call Me Master.
I love
You
these.
can declare how you mesmerize onlooking NPCs with your faded power. And you can claim new worshippers that way, which sounds fun. And then the other one I chose was Honey Tongue and Clouded Minds. When you choose to unleash the dark through lies, you get an extra thing, even on a miss. So a part of my lie becomes truth. I learn a valuable secret. They are tempted to worship me, or they will give me temporary shelter or protection. And of course, the darkness demands that I create dark churches in my name and storm heaven, which seems like steps in a plan. You make the churches first, you get the followers, then you storm heaven.
Nice. So what are your actual the monstrous powers again?
I have fear manipulation and weapons of light and sound.
Ooh, cool. Very cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Jenna. Jason, what about yours? Tell us about your character.
All right. Well, I was going to say, it sounds like people are short on one move, because when creating a character, you get your starting move that you have for your playbook, one more of your playbook moves, and then one more move that's either a division move or a ruin move.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
It's, right.
Oh, yeah. You do get a division move.
Yeah, it says refine your abilities, choose one playbook move, and then either one division move or one ruin move. Depending on whether your organizational ties or your self-destructive tendencies are more central to your vision.
Yeah, Jason is my rules master, so I lean on him for all these things, and he never lets me down. So there we are.
I let you down plenty of other ways, Scott.
Yeah, but you make up. You do. You really do. All right, so tell us about your character. What's their name?
My character is called Nilsson.
Nielsen or Nilsson?
Nilsson, Nilsson.
Nice.
Nilsson, which is a name that somebody else gave me to doom me.
Ooh.
Nilsson Shade is already dead, but the body has been destroyed. So Nilsson is, at this time, possessing essentially a mannequin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But they aren't too bothered by a lot of things. They do make some effort at trying to appear more human, through which they are wearing a flashy-looking denim jacket.
Mhm.
But then that's all they're wearing.
Just a denim jacket?
Yeah,
Nice.
and they speak with a clipped accent. There's a shade to have a relationship with death, given that death did not collect their soul. As my origin, I got too close to truth and died, but death was prevented from taking my soul. How it's death prevented? I'm not sure yet. Maybe we'll find out.
Interesting.
And the form death takes to speak to me is that they freeze time and possess someone nearby to speak through them.
Oh, interesting. And I may have missed it. I've been kind of looking over a bunch of things. What does the evil require? What is it?
The darkness demands of me two different things. To break the veil between the living and the dead, and to shatter the sun, plunging the world into eternal night.
Damn. That's high goals.
And my powers of darkness are shadow magic and supernatural strength and speed.
Oh, nice.
It's a lovely side effect of having a completely artificial body. I can push it well beyond human limits.
I for some reason the Salt and Pepper song came in my head there. I'm sorry. I was gone for a moment.
My shade study move is soul like a steel trap. My cold analytical skills can help me devise the perfect plan. When I study a tense situation, I get to make a roll. I have also chosen the shade move, I'm the expert here. Whenever somebody spends a bond with me to modify their die roll, they may ask me for my expert advice. If they follow it, they may also choose an additional benefit. That I gain a bond on them, or they get to clear a condition that's affecting them, or they can change a detail or context about a key.
Interesting.
And it's my additional move, I've chosen the division move subcontractors. Division works with various experts in the field and has a number of regular subcontractors. During an investigation, I can call Division to request for an expert subcontractor right away. It's harder to get good and reliable help in a pinch. I am required to answer at least one of the following questions to help detail this. And it's like, who is the subcontractor that none of you have met but all of you fear? What terrible fate befell the last subcontractor who was sent into the field? And who is the head of operational security at Division who is called in when a subcontractor compromises the division?
Ooh, good question.
And I mean, I've answered them all, but we'll just start with what terrible fate befell the last subcontractor who was sent into the field? And have you ever seen what happens when an agent falls victim to the personification of opposite day?
Oh my god. Yeah, bad day, basically.
And I'll leave it at that.
All right. Let's see. Clarion, what did you end up choosing? Division or the other
Ruin.
thing? What ruin move?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. So I took the Forbidden Archives.
Ooh.
Ooh, good one.
So the division has a maze of libraries and tomes bursting with knowledge. You have found a section of the library that very few know about. I'm supposed to answer the questions: who's the head librarian, and what esoteric rule do they demand everyone follow?
Ooh.
So The head librarian is another fallen who goes by the name Rags. He was kind of a celestial servant of a rival god of mine back in the day. He managed his fall way worse than I managed mine. Wound up kind of a sentient pile of rags. You see eyes in there come out every now and then. But he does demand a song every time someone comes in and checks out a book, which is annoying, but fine. What creature lies waiting in the restricted and forbidden archives? It's mundane, but just spiders. Lots of spiders. They like the old books. And just dark energy seems to like spiders. And which book have you read against the division's strict orders?
You don't have to answer that immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, you only need to answer one of the questions at the start. You can always pick on answers for the rest of them as they become relevant.
Excellent. So that's good. I got 2 of the 3 then. And yeah, you can do lots of things with your book if you make a roll. Of course, you can find truth, but you can also have the book consume an object or person, which seems fun. It gives advice. It can describe current events. And of course, if you roll too high, it can change its form and escape into the world. So,
as I do.
That happens.
It happens.
Can consume entire monsters whole. Truly, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Oh my.
Thank you. I'll be here all stream.
Yeah. Basically, I have a book friend, which is good.
Oh my god, that should be a roleplay game on its own. I want a book friend.
A very interesting definition of the word friend.
Friends come in all
chained friend, but that you can still, it still works.
That is fair. Awesome. Brian, what did you end up choosing as your ruin or division move?
I chose a ruin power.
No.
Of course you did.
The prodigal child will return. Your true parent or creator has reconnected with you, and they bear great power. So, of course, it's my mommy. When you ask your true parent or creator for help, they will do it as you ask them if you give them the love they crave from you. And, of course, Frank loves his mom. He'll do anything for her. Tell them what you need. The keeper will describe what form of loyalty or affection they require in return. Choose. Mark 1 ruin, they will do as you ask in exchange for your act of love. Describe how you please them. Or Mark 2 ruin, the harbinger within you awakens and you force your parent to do what you want while hardening your heart. Describe how they are proud of the harbinger you are becoming. Because look, Frank's mom just wants him to grow up and just consume a planet and get his bride already.
Wow. Again, high bar there by the parents. That's hardcore, man. That is hardcore. Excellent. All right. So again, as I kind of mentioned on the Discord, you are in charge of your character sheets. It's kind of like my standing rule. If you have a ability and you don't think to use it, that's not my problem. It's all about you. Plus, with this, it's the added difficulty. I literally tried to cram everything in my brain, and my brain can't handle all that. You can see my lack of hair and the whiteness of hair. I am an old person, and my brain matter is fading quickly. So anyway, I can only do so much. I can only remember so much. I can only cram so much. So again, bear with me as we do stuff, and keep track of your sheet. Feel free absolutely to chime in if you want. If I'm missing something that you want to activate one of your abilities or step in with one of them or any of your other stuff, you're a book friend of Doom, etc., etc., etc. So don't be shy about that, please. I will not be offended in any way, shape, or form. All right. So we're like half an hour into it, and we've already made all our characters. We've introduced the basics of the system and our players. That's pretty efficient, I would say. So, I as a note, I did make some kind of notes of my own for later. My plan is hopefully at the very end we'll have time to just give feedback during the stream a little bit, just to kind of document that or whatever. So, if you think that over, like what could be improved. Nitpicking at this stage in beta testing is good, even if it seems frivolous. It's something that maybe can make this game better and even more awesome when it does, get distributed to the real honest to goodness public instead of just beta testing and stuff. So keep that in mind as we're going through, and viewers also please do the same. Feel free to chime in. All right. So let's see here. So let's start things off. Let's see here. I'm going to say you're all based out of something like Los Angeles, just for kicks. Major city. People tend to know a bit about it. I really don't, to be quite honest with you, but it's a big city. We'll kind of join our scene partially in media res in the middle of action, as basically a division truck, has just stopped. You're all basically transported via this truck. It sometimes serves as like living quarters. There's like communication stuff here and whatnot to keep in touch with division. Of course, you have division handlers and division drivers for this vehicle. You are kind of like division royalty. You are the ones that do the heavy lifting. They kind of just support you, making sure you can keep lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. And oh, by the way, stop the apocalypse. So yeah, so you're basically all in a in that truck. It's right before they're going to open the doors, they turn off all the lights inside, so it's not to silhouette you like for someone taking shots at you suddenly, which happens. You are monsters, and the doors open, and there's a decent crowd. It looks like you're outside a office building. Office building like any other, really, except this one has not hazard tape, the police tape out in front. Things are cordoned off the entrance, and there is a bunch of people outside. There's a couple of news vans. As you all kind of crawl out of the truck, they immediately kind of zoom in on you. You're now part of that media presence, and one of your handlers, Dave. Dave basically kind of leads the three of you in this, again, one normal guy followed by three monsters of doom, and basically approaches the head police officer on scene. And she looks like a police captain. And she's basically managing everything there. She's, keeping, the cordon strong so people aren't going over it. She's communicating with several people. She has a cell phone in one hand and a headset on her other ear. And as you guys barge in, Dave basically says, "Division's here. We'll take it from here." And she just looks at him blankly and then looks at each of you. She's like, "I suppose you can cross. We did have the agreement with Division. Do your thing. Keep damage to a minimum, and if you need backup." And he kind of she takes her little walkie-talkie out and kind of waves it in front of the three of you, seeing who's going to actually take it first.
Oh, Frank reaches out.
Yeah, she'll give it, and again, this is a world where people know there are monsters. Not everybody's happy about that. Being a decorated officer, she is likely, seen her share of division and non-division type monsters. So you can see there's this little bit of disgust, though, regardless of all of her experience, as she kind of hands it to you and kind of disdainfully turns away. And next thing you know, they bring down the police tape, and all three of you are allowed to cross.
Frank is a little hurt. He's going to look at the other two and go, No, this won't do. I will get this police captain to love me before we leave.
No, I think she was more interested in worshiping me.
Can either of you focus on the mission, please? And Nilsson will simply start walking forward towards the building at a brisk pace.
All right, the mannequin is leading the way. Best they can.
Oh, you just had to. I just realized you picked a mannequin, Jason. I have an actual fear of mannequins in real life. It's horrifying.
We can switch that. I don't want you to be traumatized by our gameplay.
Oh, no. Thankfully, there's no pictures, so I'm just going to think of it as a doll.
He is a doll. He is a living doll. Look at me in the eyes, Brian. It's a living doll. Just a doll. Which I think is actually creepier than the alternative.
That actually doesn't bother me.
That's not making it better for me.
And I just freaked out. All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, Frank will be behind, but he's going to do on the walkie-talkie. Captain, can you hear me?
Go ahead. Over.
If we keep the damages to a minimum, can I have your phone number?
Over and out.
I'll get you yet, Captain. Over.
I told you she was more interested in me.
She's a worshipping type.
And as I engaged in one of my prompts, asked someone to follow my instructions, I gained some darkness.
Ooh, go for it. How many? And you choose how many darkness points you get from 2 to 4.
Yeah, I'll just take 2.
Okay. Keep in mind that if after a move you have more than 4 darkness points, you're, I forget what the term is, but you're on like the verge. You have to release.
Torn between.
Yeah, the torn betweens. There you go.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And again, I wish I could do more teaching type stuff, but this is not the time or place for that. This is beta testing, boys and girls. We're in the trenches.
So those 2 are engaging in a nose measuring contest over this police captain, and I am just leaving them behind.
Yeah, you can imagine the conversation turning from worship styles to, love. I don't even go into that. That's terrifying as heck. But yes. Yeah, so you guys are going in. The only thing you know is that the trouble is up on the 4th floor. It was very succinct. Bad things happened. It was just there. You have no real details. It was just decided the division was the right people for the job. People is always in quotes when we're talking about division folk. What do you do?
As I will enter the building, it's an office building, so there's probably like some kind of like front desk, reception, security or something, and then a bank of elevators nearby. I will quickly just look around, see if anything stands out or if everything is in its place.
It looks like a lot of people rushed the hell out. You can see the various, placards and stands that normally would welcome you to the building by the elevators or have like maps on them have all been knocked over and trampled. So people came out of both stairwells and elevators with great speed and terror. You know terror when you see it. There's some blood here and there.
Is there an obvious stairwell?
Yes. Right next to the bank of elevators, there is a stairwell.
I will go up to the elevators and I will press the button to go up.
What does Clarion do?
I don't know where they are.
What if I'll follow. I just don't want to get out of earshot of Frank because I don't want to lose any advantage if he's on that walkie-talkie.
Nice.
So I'm like halfway between them, trying to keep an ear.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Again, I like how this, if you'll notice, this is already developing to, the jobs on this side of the spectrum, they're dark goals on this side, and we're somewhere in between going back and forth. That's a cool interplay that we don't see in other games. So I already see a nice, neat positive for this game. It's kind of, different motives going on all simultaneously. So very cool. Frank, what are you doing? Where are you going? Which way are you trying to get up?
So Frank's gonna finally walk into the building, but he doesn't want to ruin his beautiful clothing that he has. So he's gonna take off his jacket and everything. And just want you to think about this. It's a face and then tentacles. That's Frank.
Is it a human-ish looking face or something different?
I was gonna say it's a face.
It's a face. It has 2 eyes, a nose-ish, an orifice,
an orifice, and what he considers his mouth.
Excellent. So okay, yeah. So now we're looking at basically the tentacle version of Cousin It, but even more terrifying, as you might think. Cool.
But he thinks he's handsome.
Excellent. So which way are you following? Are you following Nilsson up the elevator? Or are you taking the stairs? What are you doing?
Frank is actually going to take the stairs. He's going to be a little cautious. He doesn't like being in a tight little box. And
I'll take the stairs too.
Nilsson still scares the crap out of him.
Oh my goodness! Walking Nilsson's Raggedy Ann booty up to the elevator because he's not a doll.
So you're both taking the stairs while I'm waiting for the elevator.
Yes.
Attacking on different fronts.
The inorganic person who doesn't get tired is the one taking elevator. Okay.
The irony is not lost on us. All right. So as happens with elevators, it takes forever. And I'm going to say these two, Clarion and Frank, are already up at the, what'd I say, the 4th floor?
4th.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're already up at the 4th floor. And by the time you get out and you kind of survey things, we'll wait about a minute after that, and that's when the little ding happens. So in the meanwhile, I'm assuming, are you guys just kind of walking out? What kind of monsters are you? Are you like I'm a badass, so I really don't have to worry about stuff, and you just stride out? Are you like the stealthy, let's poke an eye out, instant poke an eye around the corner type of thing, stealthy, or what kind of monster approach are we looking at? I don't even talk, Frank. I know what yours is. How about Clarion?
She's a little more like, I can handle whatever comes. I'm just gonna walk around, look for what happened.
Nice.
Where's the issue?
Right, you can't get worshippers if you seem weak.
Yeah,
worshippers love.
I gotta be in the center.
Yeah, you do. Damn right. That's what your fallen god would want.
Mm.
All right,
I don't care what he wants.
Do you? Don't you? We don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Frank, so what's your approach? Are you walking out, strided out, all faced in the danger type of thing?
Oh, mother, no. It's the moneymaker.
This is the moneymaker.
This cannot be hurt. If Frank is out in the open just striding about, then he's going to get hurt. That's why he has control over shadows and things. So of course the first thing he's going to do is is use a shadow to kind of just be like, hey, is it clear?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you like there's a shadow around the lights are definitely mostly off here. If you can imagine, for those that are up already, it's very much like that we'll go with the standard terror scene where it's like there's just enough lights to be like kind of visible, and what's on are always flickering. So it's like that time when it's like it flickers off. That's when something bad, of course, is going to happen. That type of thing. So yeah, Frank, you have. Oh, go ahead.
Frank melds into the shadows, and Clarion, since it was wings of light and sound and weapons of light and sound. So she's literally glowing as she walks through.
Is she bringing out any of her weapons, or kind of holding that?
Yeah,
for a moment?
I kind of thought, since they use the same description for the weapon and the wings, that the wings are the weapons.
Ooh, wow, that's cool. Nice. I like the sound of that. So yeah, so you're kind of lighting up their lives, type of thing. And that's why I don't sing karaoke. I do sing karaoke. It's just not. It's very scary. So yes, awesome. So about the time you get to full brightness is when ding, and Nilsson comes out. Nilsson, how do you come out of the? Are you the stride on out because you're a doll, or kind of take it step by step, look around the corner, etc., etc.?
No, I'm just going to stride on out. I'm confident in my awareness to let me know if there's anything to be afraid of. But I'm just going to step out and start to look around and figure out what I can.
Cool.
What on here? What direction should I be going? Does Clarion really have to be so obnoxiously bright?
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that's the first thing. Like your doll eyes kind of like get blinded for a second before they adjust by Clarion's godly glow or goddessly glow, as the case may be. Yeah, of course Frank's nowhere to be seen. We know how Frank works. He's already in a shadow somewhere. He could be in Toledo in a shadow somewhere right now, for all we know. So before we kind of go any further, one kind of thing I kind of want to point out is, so like in Masks, another Probably Apocalypse game, you're pretty much considered to be above the standard mortal. So when you're interfacing with them in a physical way, you pretty much automatically win. Mortals don't stand a chance. This game takes it to the next level, where it's like almost none of your moves are like against normal mortals for all intents and purposes. These are all taking these immensely huge and godlike powers that you have and just using them to bowl over everything. And it's only when you get with something with like strength that you really have to, start making or start triggering moves and stuff like that. So these are gods among people here, these three. So just something I kind of want to note for as the flavor of the system, which is, I think, very important. Cool.
Yeah. Probably just kind of, low level passively use my shadow magic to basically make the blinding brightness of Clarion not so blinding to me. I'm basically taking some of the shadows that her light creates and kind of using those as like little sunglasses. It's like much better.
Cool.
But it is nice because Clarion is making all kinds of shadows everywhere for me. And Frank.
Nice.
We're a good team.
We both like shadows.
Yeah. Again, it's an interesting dynamic we see already. Like Clarion is I'm a badass god. I'm going to walk out into the middle of anything and be, satisfied that my power is enough to destroy anything, while I'm blazing away, making shadows for the other two and, doing their thing and becoming their most powerful. So yeah, this is probably a good reason you three were formed into a trio. So that makes a lot of sense. So very cool. So again, I apologize. I'm going to cut some corners here. This is a playtesting session. I just kind of want to get into the rule set a bit. So let's. So I won't have. Unfortunately, I won't have as much player development as I usually like. I really want to keep the interplay going because I think that adds to the flavor and that is so important to this game. Because again, this is not just a monster punch thing die. That's not what this game is. It's a portion of this game, but there's so many more levels that I wish we had time to, go over. But it's playtest. So anyway, so yes. So as you're kind of getting the lay of the land, so to speak, you hear this sound, and I'm not sure how long have you all been like around, like in this mortal plane, would you say? Like over 30 years, 20 years?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Frank's been
centuries.
Frank's been here for over, last he counted, with like maybe 1,800 years. He was summoned by people in weird robes.
Well, then that could be anywhere from 1,800 years ago to like 5 seconds ago.
How about Nilsson?
I am not sure. Probably not nearly as long as those two. Probably say they're reasonably, because they were a person and then they died. So I'd probably say that they died
20, 30 years. Yes, no.
Yeah, probably less than 20 years ago is when they died.
Okay, but they were around for a while. Okay.
Well, died. shade.
Right.
So,
So the reason I asked that question is because you will be only too familiar with the sound that you hear from this one area. There's a cube farm this way and a cube farm that way. The one this way where this sound is coming from is a lot more broken up. There's like literal like cubes have been just destroyed, just bowled over. Clarion, you in your light, you plainly see like a few bodies laying there, and they're all any body you see is just like crushed, and it looks like it was pointed towards like the exit, trying to get to the stairway or whatever, and just never made it. At least a good half dozen. And the sound you hear is ring. That's my imitation of a modem back in the day. For those of you who are actually too young to know that sound.
Which way it was? Is that in the direction of the crushed bodies,
It's
or in the opposite direction?
No, it's in the direction of the crushed bodies and the cube farm.
Okay, I start walking towards it.
Yeah.
So will I.
And Frank, are you kind of skulking in the shadows around the ones she makes, basically?
Oh, yeah, so basically the way it's going to work is the shadows that are like right behind Clarion, Frank is literally inside that shadow, and then he just pokes his head up. Did we just go back in time to the time of AOL? And then just go back inside the shadow?
It is an apocalypse, potentially. That could be. It would make sense.
Frank, do you have mail?
Oh, God. That's why we bring Jason on board. So yes,
But yeah, Nilsson's definitely just going to be walking forward at a steady pace.
okay, behind Clarion, of course. Nice bright shield, right?
Sure, yeah, Clarion can go in front.
You want to be the first to contact the worshippers. That's how it works. So yes, so Clarion definitely illuminates as she goes. It's there's when you kind of get to the end of the cube farm, you see a perfectly intact cube there, and as Clarion's brightness kind of shines on the end, you see this form. It's a man, or mostly, and it turns around, and you see like its head, where its hairline would be. All these cables are coming out of it. And they're all going into various jacks in the back of the room. And his eyes are glowing blue. And there's like, you can see, Clarion, you especially, with your light shining, you can see the reflection off of them and how they're like metallic. And you can see like code going through them. And he's making the sound. And he focuses on first Clarion and quirks his head to the side and then back up. And then he kind of turns around and goes back to his thing for a second. And I think Clarion would notice how the cables are slowly becoming unplugged from the walls and are now slowly beginning to snake in other directions. What do you all do?
I want to try and fully sever him from the walls. Like,
Oh, nice.
just use my wing and one of my wings and slash down between him and the wall and sever some of the cables.
Nice. Cool. And you can do that. So basically, here's one of the basic moves. So unleash the dark. When you unleash the dark within you to enforce your will on someone physically, socially, or emotionally, and the thing that they kind of don't cover here in the triggers, which is one of my criticisms, is that it has to be someone who could resist you. That has the ability to resist you. This doesn't just roll on every little mortal that you come across. So I'm going to say, yeah, right at this point, at least, they're not resisting, and they may or may not be powerful enough. But yeah, why don't you describe how your wings kind of cut those cables?
Okay. When I raise my wing to strike, the light actually seems to sharpen into an edge around it. And you hear kind of a high-pitched trill that is kind of the clarion call of my namesake. And so you hear that trill and see the light sharpen a bit, and it swipes down between the cables and the wall and him and
Nice.
disconnects them.
Yeah, that sound, that modem sound that had been going on this whole time suddenly stops. And it's replaced by, you disconnected me from my god. And he turns...
I can be a better god.
Oh, nice. Frank and Nilsson, what are you guys up to as this is going on? I want to give you opportunity to act if you want, or you can play it from the sidelines.
Ooh.
Clarion is already doing what she does best, trying to acquire worshippers.
Oh.
Nilsson is simply going to up to Cablehead and using their supernatural strength, just grab them by what would be the neck on a human, pin them against the wall, and demand to know what is going on here. What did you do?
Okay, cool. All right, so this will trigger the move. This creature does want to resist, and almost immediately though, he also can't take his eyes off of Clarion, even as you slam him to the wall. So, why don't you unleash the dark? Are you and you don't actually have to spend a darkness token here. I don't think. Do we start off with darkness tokens, Jason? You'd be the one that knows.
Everybody starts off with 0.
0. Okay, so you have no darkness tokens.
I have 2 already because I already started by demanding people follow my instructions.
Right. Cool.
So, and I'm going to spend 1 of them.
All right.
So yes, unlike most PBTA games where you have your tribute rolls, every single roll you make in this, pretty much, you spend darkness tokens, and that is the modifier on your roll. So I'm going to make this roll at +1. And I'll head over to our little rolling rules at rollwithme.xyz.
Yep. Yeah, I've never used this before, so this is new to me. Hope I highlighted the right area.
I got a 7 + 1 is 8, which is perfect.
Thanks.
So what do I get to do with Unleash the Dark? I wield the darkness with control and ease. Choose to. I am going to get what I want from them, which is information, and avoid reprisal, harm, or cost.
Oh, damn. Good choices. Excellent. So again, the reason that this was triggered is because the individual is going to be resisting and had the ability to resist, whereas when Clarion basically cut his cords, he wasn't quite interested in resisting. So things have changed. So that's your only idea. So that's a very different system. So actually, rolling too high is also bad. 11 plus, you put too much oomph into it, and bad things happen. And then 7 or below, you've done a miss. So that's the way that goes. So all right. So what did you want to get from them? Remind me.
I demand to know what they did and what all happened here and what they've done.
He kind of...
I want to get an idea of...
Yeah, so he never takes his eyes off of Clarion. Clarion is already a bit entranced him. But as he's looking towards Clarion, and I should actually ask, I never did ask, is Clarion she, her, are they, them, he, him?
She, her.
She, her. Excellent. So, so Clarion, is keeping his attention just the way she likes. And as he's kind of looking at her, he reaches out to you, Nilsson, and he just opens his mouth, and it's like the more of the modem sound, but like more of a human version of it. And he kind of his other hand kind of moves towards a keyboard that's nearby, and you see him just clicky clack, like faster than anyone can move. And you suddenly see this stuff on the screen. And he's like, they all must hear the voice of my God. They will hear the voice of my God.
So I have the move Call Me Master, which is you declare how you mesmerize onlooking NPCs. I don't know if this would be considered an onlooking NPC.
Yes,
But can I
absolutely.
try to like fully take his devotion away from this other god so that he'll answer me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what is the roll? What do we have to do with the roll? Let's take a look. Oh, I see. Yeah, so no one can resist your call, but you do have to roll. So go ahead and make a roll. And do you want to spend? You have no tokens to spend, so it's a straight up roll.
Yep.
Let's see how you do. Yes, absolutely. He is an onlooking NPC, and not in the middle of anything at the moment, etc., etc.
Oh, there we go. A 5. Sadness.
A 5. Sadness ensues.
Oh. And what happens on a 5 with that move?
Mark 1 ruin. The keeper will tell you what dark and terrifying entity answers your call.
Ooh, interesting. All right, so Clarion, as you kind of do that, and this is probably something you all have seen before. I have to imagine Clarion is not, meek about seeking out worshippers, etc. But yeah, mark your ruin, and you'll hear him actually. So his mouth contorts, and he's like, and you hear this voice that's otherworldly, kind of reverberates in the back of your head. Even Frank, who's not really corporeal yet, you feel this reverberate in your chest. It's like, and it's, oh, we'll know the touch. Oh, we'll know the touch. And with that, the guy just like collapses underneath Nilsson's grasp, and it seems like he's dead.
I suppose I'll check if he's actually dead.
Yeah.
Is there a heartbeat?
No, nothing that you can detect. So this
well,
is
that was a bust.
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily. So this is the awkward part. So this is the part where I don't quite get, which is I'm going to bring up in my other part. So it's like now someone needs to do a move, the grasping keys.
And that's what Nilsson was going to go for next.
Okay.
I have an idea that that this was obviously communing with something electronically, some kind of divinity, but some divinity that's using electronics for communication. And so I'm basically going to be, searching around, looking through all like the cables and modems, other connections, maybe some of the computers are left off and what they're accessing, try and figure out there's, what it was connected to or communing to, hopefully. Maybe I'll find something else.
Okay.
So,
cool. All right, so that's how you just basically described what you're searching for. So go ahead and roll.
Right. Oh, yes. And using my powers of darkness. Well, my supernatural speed is going to let me search basically the entire floor super quick.
Oh, nice. But what you're actually triggering though is the grasping keys. So you can use that. That'll be definitely flavors. Yeah, you're searching the whole thing. So that's fine.
Yeah, or use your powers of darkness to gather information. So let's give that a roll. Oh, a 10. Wait, 10 works, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So 8 to 10, you uncover a key. So this is kind of so here's the thing I don't quite get. So let's say there was like something to be found here that was like observable, that would count. Does it not count as a key? You have to make this roll. That's kind of what I don't get out of this whole thing. But yeah, so as you kind of search everything, you what really gets you is the kind of network router that's in that a closet in that area. And as you kind of do your super quick moves, you touch it and you commune with it for a second, and you basically get this thing in your mind of like a web, and at each intersection of the web, this vision you're getting, there's a person. So every time any two pieces of web come together, there's like a person, and this web just stretches out to like the horizon. No spiders to be seen, but people in this web. And then the kind of vision fades.
A vision of a web of connections.
Yes. So that is a key.
All right.
So my problem with this, just kind of discussing, is like there could be more here. There could be more things to investigate. I would like to give someone else the ability to, but the key has already been found here. So it's like we found a key. It's, it kind of takes the thunder away from Clarion or Frank to maybe make a roll and do their own search, because theoretically the keys are stretched out, to various places and things like that. But let's see here. Okay.
But we also need to figure out where the hell we're going next.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't really understand why the cubes were flattened, though, either, right? This was just a guy.
Or was it?
Ooh.
So you know what? Let's just do this. Go, Clarion, why don't you grasp at keys?
Okay. Let's see.
Maybe there's more than one key here. Maybe that's what we need to be doing.
10.
A 10. Nice. Excellent. So let's see here. So as Clarion kind of looks around, these are like, again, I can imagine a look of disgust on her face as like she's realizing these are lost worshippers. They totally would have been worshiping her if she'd have been here just a little while ago at the right time to save them.
All my secondary eyes are looking around. I pull up my sleeves.
All my secondary eyes, I forgot about that. You're like a biblical actual angel, and it's terrifying. And you did a good job, by the way. So yeah. And Frank, I want to work you in soon also, even though this is a one shot. I want to try to get as much time for everybody as I can. But yeah, Clarion, so as you're looking around, you kind of again, if she was just here a while ago, she could have got more worshipers. You kind of pick one person up and then another, and you just kind of look at them, and as she's done observing them, she probably kind of like drops them like little rag dolls that they are to her. And
just now.
Yeah. And like one thing you notice is that there are, in each of these people who tried to run but didn't quite make it, there are computer jacks in the back of their skulls. That's like, maybe it was trying to spread it. They're definitely, something was preparing them or something, but yeah. This is not natural. This would kill a human to try to do this in real life. This is not a cyberpunk game.
I have one of them in my hand and I turn around. I don't think humans usually come with computer jacks. I've been around for a while. I think I know this. This doesn't... Has anyone seen anything like this before? It's a very modern apocalypse. I'm used to more of the fire and brimstone, not the internet invading.
I have not seen this outside of fictional television programs.
Frank's going to come out of the shadow finally. And he's going to try to talk to some family.
Ooh, what does that mean?
He's going to use borrowed power and summon a creature from another world there.
Ooh. All right, let's see, what does that do? Let's take a quick look.
On an 8 to 10, the summoning ward will hold, and you have the upper hand for now. Choose one. I really don't need it to be a fire, rage, and violence and storm. What I really am hoping for it to happen is the summoning creature will answer any one question you have.
Okay. Cool. So let's see. Okay, cool. Make your roll. Let's see how we do.
Oh, we're doomed.
Oh, we're doomed. Something powerful and sinister hijacks the summoning. The summoning comes through with no summoning words to control it. Mark 1 ruin, and the keeper will tell you what happens next. All right, well, what happens next is Frank just made this scene a whole lot more violent.
Frank's gonna point at Nelson. He did it.
So
the shadow.
So Clarion still has this like limp ragdoll body trying to look, it's a Jack. And without really any warning, Frank already did the summoning, not bothering to prepare anybody for this. But it's not like he doesn't do this all the freaking time. Yeah, exactly. And you can kind of see him. I'll say he cuts a little hole, like a circle on the floor as he kind of spins in his half shadow form and goes, "Whatcha!" And he's waiting for this thing to pop up, and something indeed does. And he notices that he did not complete the circle. It wasn't a perfect circle. He's not an artist, it seems. And you kind of see what looks like a tiny spider come out of the plug dude's ear, and next thing you know, it's crawled into the circle and has grown. I forget. I should probably double check my lines and veils. Nobody has a spider issue, do they?
No, you're good.
All right.
No.
And it grows, and it's like a computer spider. So it's all it's made up of, like, if you can imagine all these computer cables, network cables, 100 of them, braided together and twisted, and those were each of its legs. And its center is like a hard, not hard, but a computer tower. And it's it has like two mice on the front of it with the laser beams looking out at you guys, like two little eyes, and then 6 more kind of flip up. Next thing you know, there you are. What do you do?
Diane, kill it. Frank just goes back in the shadow.
I will wing attack.
Wing attack? All right.
It's a spider. Kill it.
It's a spider. All right. Well, you're definitely... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Nelson.
I am just going to stare at them curiously and at the spider.
Does this trigger any of your getting darkness tokens or anything? I was just curious if you.
It might for Brian. It might for me react with cold reason and logic.
Well, this isn't really me overreacting with violence, and I am not telling this thing to give me its best shot. And I don't really want to love it. Frank has a spider lover. He doesn't need another one.
Yeah, you gotta cut it off at 1. All right, cool. I was just checking. All right.
Also, if you use Unleash the Dark based on anger and violence, you also gain darkness.
Yep.
All right.
Always.
All right, go ahead, Clarion. Make your roll. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Ooh, 7.
7.
I do not believe.
Oh,
Nope.
Yeah, you greatly underestimate them. Yes.
At this point, you can also spend a bond that you have with somebody to modify your roll.
Yes, we did skip over bonds. I apologize for that. So yes, bonds are basically the connection you have to other PCs, basically. So you get 1 for one and 2 for the other. So who do you have your 1 bond to? What's your lesser bond to, like your understanding, your closeness? Which character would you say?
That would definitely be Frank. That was the starting.
Ouch.
The starting question was, you made sure my fall was swift and terrible. Why don't I hate you for it? But he's the one that's been around the longest, so he would have been there when
fun.
I fell.
Nice. That's so cool. And again, I apologize for skipping those over. I was finding when I get into the things and do the things.
Oh yeah. I knew they would. I knew I'd mention them when it was relevant for them to come up. So
No, I appreciate it.
Now's a great time.
Yeah, excellent.
All right, so you get your one bond with Frank. On your center column, you can see bonds with numbers.
Yep.
So you just replace name with Frank.
Yep.
Then I guess your two bond would be with me. Oh, that I long to worship you and my heart yearns for you. Interesting. But why do you, Clarion, the Fallen, keep your distance from me?
Ooh.
So you are already dead, correct?
My body is dead, my soul is not.
I think I'm unsure on whether you add to my power as a follower.
Oh, nice.
Because your body is dead and your soul's kind of in an interesting state. Not sure if I actually if I get power from having you as a follower or if you would just draw on me. Which I don't want.
Oh, yeah, you're not sure which way the power transfer would go if you got close to me. Yeah. That's a really good one.
That's really cool. Good job.
And then why are you tempted to give in to what the darkness demands? What's your temptation to do one of those things?
My temptation is definitely that I feel like I could be a better god than the one that got jealous of me and cast me down.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you want to storm heaven? To prove who's best?
Yes.
Oh.
Very cool.
Oh. Very nice. So now that you have those bonds starting out as you see on the chart, you can choose to spend one of them to modify your die roll by plus or minus 1.
Okay. So I will.
And you can technically spend them all.
If you spend your bond with another player, you would then narrate or co-play narrate, some kind of shared connection or memory or something representing your bond with that person and how it helps you out in this moment. If you spend your bond for what the darkness demands of you, that I would have to look it up, but that's not. It works, but it's not going to be nice.
Well, we'll not worry about that at the moment. But since we're talking about bonds, Frank, why don't you do yours? What is your 1 and what's your 2? Let's do those.
Okay, this is perfect because with Clarion, we kind of were actually at both of our own summonings. Where when you fell is when I was being summoned. Apparently, I think they thought a cosmic horror would help in that war in heaven.
Horror.
But I was like...
Horror.
They thought I would help, but in reality, I'm like, no, I don't really give a shit. I don't care. So I just watched you fall down, and it was... And then went on about my way. And then for Nilsson... You can't tell me you love me. Why?
Why? Well, you're expected to answer that. That's your question.
Maybe it's the...
Why do you think I can't tell you that I love you?
Because you've seen the true horror that Frank actually is.
As your pawn, I have seen what the true horror of your nature, and I must burn you as a result.
Exactly, because you know that love fuels Frank.
Ooh, spiteful, not fueling him. Interesting. Cool. All right. So let's. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's continue on. So yes, Clarion described you. So you actually got your roll. So
yes.
you have when you get
7.
an 8 to 10, which you bumped it up to an 8. So now you have that. So choose 2 from the list and then narrate how that all looks.
So you're using one of your bonds with me, right?
Yes.
That also triggers one of my moves. When somebody spends a bond with Nilsson, they get the +1/-1 bonus, and they may also ask for Nilsson's expert advice. If they follow that advice, they also get one additional benefit.
2 from the roll, so 3 instead of 2.
Well, one benefit from my move, which is they clear condition, and Nilsson gains a bond on them, or they may change a detail or context about a key.
Oh, interesting. It gets a little complex. So go ahead and so Clarion, let's first do your thing, because I've been itching to get you in cutting distance that creature. So what 2 are you picking, and then let's tell us all about it. What does it look like?
Let's say I expose a weakness or flaw. And gain the upper hand for now. So basically I kind of knock it over with my wing and grab it in a place where it can't actually hurt me. And I'll turn to Nelson. What do you think we do with this?
This is definitely an odd manifestation and phenomenon that obviously whatever is working against us is manifesting its will through technology. Perhaps we should contain this and bring it back to the headquarters for further analysis.
Good idea. I'll try if there's a file cabinet somewhere, like one of those half cabinets that goes under a desk.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'll pull one of those over and try and stuff it in and close the door.
Yeah, one way or another, you definitely do that. Yeah, it's not pretty. It's like you can hear things like bending and stuff, like as it kind of like squeezes in, but you get it in there, and it's still twitching and moving and trying to escape.
Okay. So now I have this file cabinet. Are we ready?
Frank is gonna pop up behind Nielsen and go, "I love the way you talk."
So do you? So now that we've done that, what's the extra benefit you want from following his advice, Nilsson's advice?
Nilsson can gain a bond on Clarion, or Clarion can change any detail or context in regards to a key. The third option is they can clear condition, but Clarion doesn't have any marks yet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You may do these things.
I guess I would give you a bond on me.
All right.
Cool.
So I figured that'll be my 2 bond question I'll add on with you. I love you, but I can't accept it. Why do you allow me to remain ignorant? Ooh. That's the bond I'm going to have with Clarion. I'm just going to think about exactly why do you allow me to remain ignorant.
Ooh, wow. These are deep questions, I must say.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I'll work on that, and please continue.
Excellent. So yeah, we'll jump ahead to kind of you're back at division headquarters, and you'll have an opportunity here to do what you want to do. There's extra security people, actual like humans, who are kind of like they're literally standing around this file cabinet that Clarion casually, carried about and just popped on the floor. There's like 6 mortals around it with M16s aimed at it. And that probably wouldn't be enough anyway, but it makes them feel better when they do that, those mortals. So each of you has an opportunity to do something at division if you please. You don't have to. And actually, we're almost at our halfway mark. So let's take our 10-minute break, and then we come back let me know if you're doing anything at Division, and we'll say that you got your advance by spending some time at Division. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we will be right back. See you guys in 10. All right, and we're back from a break. So cool. So yeah, we're sitting at Division. Again, Division's an interesting place. It's half high tech, half low tech. Like, you feel like half of it, you feel like you're in some kind of castle dungeon, and like the other half is like the highest tech that humans aren't even aware exists type of stuff. And again, the monsters are treated like pretty much like royalty, because you're just so darn valuable. You are what makes Division effective. Without you, they'd be just, I don't know, not even a division. But conversely, even the people who know you are afraid of you. You're freaking terrifying, each and every one of you. You're powerful beyond anything they could ever dream of. There's no amount of working out or exercising or running or martial arts training that could like make them your equal, or even to last more than a blink of an eye with you. So people are generally scared of you here, even those that respect you. So I'll give you each a quick scene. Like, tell me what you're doing at Division. I got to assume that Clarion is going to the library.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good task for her.
Okay.
See if there's anything in there about computer monsters.
Computer monsters. All right, so you go to the library, and again, I want everybody to do a little scene, so we'll keep this relatively brief, but I want everyone to get some spotlight. But yeah, Clarion, you go in, and the librarian demands her toll from you before you can go in and do some of your research here, or have her help you research. So what song do you sing? And what does the librarian look like? Is the librarian human, or also a monster of some sort that just kind of hangs out here?
The librarian is also a monster. It is, I think, his name is Rags. He basically looks like a pile of rags, and every now and then you see like something with eyes stick its head out or like poke out. Not exactly humanoid, but it's just kind of a lump on a chair that swivels back and forth.
Oh wow, that's gonna be my nightmares tonight very easily. Cool. So how do you and Rags communicate? Does he talk? Do they talk?
They do. You don't see a mouth or anything, but there's a voice that comes from the pile.
So what do you sing? What's the song that gets you entrance?
I think she's pretty old school, so it'll probably be some angelic. This isn't D&D where you have celestial as a language, but something in whatever celestials sing. Once she looks around and makes sure no other mortals are around.
Okay, as a note, I was when you said, I'm going to do something old school, I was ready for you to belt out something from the 80s, and I would have to cry in front of you. So thank you for not doing that and actually going real old school and way back. I appreciate that. That was appreciated. I noted. Cool. Yeah. So she kind of Rags kind of takes it in and swivels around as kind of getting an eyeful, if you will, from every angle, and finally stops the slow spinning and turns to you. And what have you brought me, Clarion?
Well, we found something that's looking to make followers. There was a guy with wires coming out of his head talking about pleasing his god. It was no one I know. And then we found all the other humans with jacks in the back of their heads. So I'm looking. Do you know if any of the old gods have tried to take up a new, modern form? Think they're gonna like impress the kids or something with this whole computer thing? It doesn't seem like our cohort, but somehow I
Right.
guess it is.
Cool. So now for the librarian, what do they give you? What's their what do they actually give you as like a bonus, or what's their hook with you? Oop, we lost her. Oop, she's back. Yay! She's
Here.
returning. So remind me what the librarian does for you. Let's establish that before we do that part of the scene.
Let's see. The librarian is from my division move. And basically the librarian was just one of the questions from the Forbidden Archives. But I have found a section of the library that very few know about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I get my book friend from. So the librarian would know all of these dangerous sections in this maze of library and could give me directions, maybe in riddles, maybe actual directions. Depends what he feels like and how much he liked my song. But he might be able to help me find some information.
Cool. So yeah, as he kind of has you give him a little peek of what's in your drawer there, your cabinet. He there's like a hum that emanates from inside the rags, and you seek the Book of Quernor. You know where to find it. It's under the L's, and sends you off in a direction.
Quernor.
The L is silent.
I see. All those silent L's. All right.
Yes. So basically, you'll kind of go towards the L-ish section, and do a couple circuits around. You find it, like a dead end at one point, and it's like at one point it's like, wow, am I going to be spending a couple of years trying to just get out of here? That's not good. We don't like that. Oh, the silent L section. So go ahead and grasp for keys.
Okay.
Are you going to put any what do you call it? Darkness tokens into that?
No, I have none marked, although I think I probably should have, because I have definitely asked people to worship me.
That.
So I'm not keeping good track there.
That's all right. You're not completely familiar with this either, so that's...
Yeah. Let's say I had one, and I'll use it.
Sure.
So I'll have one darkness token, so +1 on this.
All right, make a roll.
Well, it's good I did that. That's an 8, exactly. It was a 7 + 1.
Cool. All right, so with your 8... you uncover a key. The keeper will tell you what it is. So, a key that you discovered, as you kind of like you look through the Book of Quernor, and there are some minions of the god, and you kind of open up the cabinet just a little. You're looking for, and as you kind of get a closer look, you see like runic markings on the surface of like the computer tower part. They weren't very visible to you when you're just yanking it around and tossing it and shoving it into the box. But you do see what the book describes as the mark of Lyrcan. And Lyrcan is a dead god, or thought to be dead, of plague. And
that's nice.
Yeah, so as you kind of find the thing and match it up, the book kind of snatches itself from your hand, and little millipede-like legs sprout out of the spine of it, and it puts itself back on the bookshelf where it came from.
I don't think I was done with you, but fine.
Sometimes the books decide.
Yes, I'm aware of the library's peculiarities.
All right, let's go to Frank. What are you up to at headquarters, at division headquarters?
Okay, so Frank is going to his room. To everyone else, it's a broom closet. But when Frank grabs the door handle, it takes him back to his natural actual dimension.
Ooh.
I'm using the ruin move, the prodigal child will return. It's time to talk to Mama.
Oh my. Okay.
And so what this even looks like what this would look like to anyone is, because ideally what Frank is, what you guys see on when he acted originally to you all, that's not even his real body. It's drifting in space. Just a big giant thing. So he's at a pillar and there's a giant eyeball and he's just, "Hi, Mom."
And there's like a thrumming of the universe. There's no words, but the thrumming, basically, it carries more meaning than words ever could. And it's a lost language that only you and your mother share. So basically, she replies, greets, scolds, and asks why you have not brought along around the end of times yet, all in one thrum. In like a 40-year conversation, it would be if that was in like, human words.
Frank is just like with his tentacle, just same song, same complaints as always. "Mom, there's some weird entity messing with the plane I'm currently on, which I'm trying to take over."
Which I'm trying to take over. And there's another thrum, and it's all about like, the rough equivalent of, why haven't you found a wife yet? Why aren't you yet in ruler of a universe like your brother is? Etc.
With this, I'm gonna actually mark 2 ruin because with that insult, like the big giant body that is Frank actually kind of twitches, and the Harbinger is gonna awaken. And with that, it kind of is going to force his mom to actually listen to him.
Oh, wow. All that has to happen for mom to listen.
But she's actually very proud to see that he's becoming that soul-devouring, universe-ending being that he's always destined to be.
Yeah, that she's always wanted to grow up to be, yeah. Like, it's not, don't be a doctor or a lawyer. Be a usurper of a dimension, please.
It's like, just tell me. It's like, Mom, just tell me his plan, please.
All right. So, so is this like she's another sounding board? You're looking to grasp for keys?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm going for.
All right, go for it.
All right, just get to roll with me. I rolled a 9.
Excellent. All right, so let's see what that does. So, grasp for keys, 9. Okay, so yeah, you uncover a key. The keeper will tell you what it is. So, I'll say that you would know better what this was if you just focused on, what you were looking at for out of the universe. She kind of thrums, and it's like you're asking about where to find this god to destroy. Gods take forms when they go, just like you are just a tiny fraction of what you are when you're back in that other dimension. Look for the leader.
Frank just looks at the giant eye and is just, "You're the best, Mom."
You're the best.
And he's like, "You're the best. I swear I'm going to destroy that. I'm going to destroy that plane."
Funny. All right. Cool. So how do you, when you leave, what happens? You like feel your form get sucked up into this tentacular form as you walk out out of the closet, or your room rather?
Exactly. So as I'm going out of the closet, it's as if the massive entity that he is shrinks down into this little speck of what he is here on this plane.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah.
he's just putting back on his jacket, his hat, and his fake beard.
This is fake beard, which is the most effective part of the entire disguise. Excellent. All right, so yeah, so you kind of get a look as you come out of there. There's like, someone looks past you and almost goes insane for a second as they accidentally get a peek in your dimension as they walk on by. So what is Nilsson doing? What's Nilsson up to at the division headquarters?
What is Nilsson doing? Ultimately,
No pressure.
Nilsson is actually going to try and, get a meeting to talk with part of subcontractors. Who's the head of operational security at Division, who's called in with subcontractor compromises? Director Elizabeth Forsyth. I'm going to see if I can talk to her and go over what we've encountered so far, especially all this weird computer stuff in that, and see what advice she has towards dealing with this, if she can recommend specific contractors to try and deal with this or help find information.
Okay. So she kind of organizes a subcontractor to get in to do dirty work for you, basically somewhere else, or etc., or help you out on the spot, or.
Oh yeah, I'm not directly using a move, I don't think. Unfortunately,
well, but you're making use of the subcontractors, is what I'm saying. So how does I suppose my question is, how does that work?
Well, the actual use of the move is to actually call the subcontractor while you're out in the field and have them show up in a few minutes as an expert. I'm mostly just kind of like laying groundwork.
Okay, so
more as an RP than in actually using the move.
Sure. I mean, I'd allow you to use it at this point. You can, get the subcontractor to do some quick investigation for you.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Yeah, because I mean, I suppose be able to definitely get a hold of whoever would end up being best for this. So when I call Envision, ask them send somebody over to tell them who you need. I need some kind of somewhere between like an occultist and a computer expert. holy hacker, if you will. Because there's obviously computer stuff going on, but there's some kind of dark god also in this. And then ask another player to choose from the list below to describe the subcontractor. So I don't know whichever one of you wants to choose, but you can switch over to Nilsson's page of the spreadsheet and look for the brown and 10 area, and you can see the list of 3 things you can choose from.
Cool.
Who wants to tell me what kind of contractor I end up with?
On the subcontractor?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
You're getting monstrous.
Okay.
You're monstrous?
Monstrous.
All right. So you choose from the list below and describe the subcontractor. So who is this monstrous holy hacker, I guess, or whatever else Director Forsyth feels is the most appropriate thing based on what I've told her.
Okay, so this is actually the monster that was created by Frankenstein.
Oh.
Become an amazing hacker because he is basically a dead body in technology.
Oh wow!
You call him M. You do not call him the monster, because if you do, he will immediately disconnect with you.
You call him what?
Call him Im.
Im. Clara, did you have anything to add to that one? Does that sound interesting? You want to add something else?
I was just gonna add, like, he's famous. If I don't know if I'm there, but I'm impressed. I'm like, oh, someone out of legend.
Nice.
An
Not as
honor.
legendary as Clarion, mind you, but still.
Still, for a mortal.
All right.
Okay. They're immortal. They're different kind of immortal. It's kind of impressive. Like, oh, the little humans actually figured it out.
So, all right. So, so I'm going to say, yes, so a little time passes, and these are pretty on the spot. You are monsters. You work with other monsters and technology and mystic arts. So travel is not like a huge thing. Can be instantaneous if prepared for correctly. And, I'll say, so, Nilsson, you basically are sitting with Forsyth, and she's kind of just a woman of few words. She actually doesn't ever talk to you. She only types things out and they appear on a screen in front of you. And she kind of types out, all right, subcontractor is in place. Im is, already penetrated the building. Police don't know. Already hacked the back. You can actually see like doors opening for him. He's like doing some kind of like, what is it called? Not virtual reality, advanced reality, AR, augmented reality, and he's doing some kind of augmented reality keyboard as he walks, and stuff just like opens up for him, and you're kind of seeing it from like a camera that is maybe even newly implanted in his forehead or something like that, like a little advance from the old days. And he's kind of going up. He goes up to where the bodies were. They've all been cleaned up with chalk markers and stuff. He's pushing past police tape, and he kind of goes up to where those cut cables were that Clarion sliced through. They're still left behind in plugs, so he kind of pulls out a couple, and you see him jack something in, and he's like, interesting. You see like a bunch of code drift over like the readout you're getting from him, and he's like, interesting. They oh, well, that's weird. I didn't think this was coming out till 2 months from now. He's like, so they're like most people in the world, they're running, their operating system is nanoware. It's Portal 3.0. This is actually 6.6, which wasn't supposed to come out till July. But they got it early. Did you even see Parsons he even gave like a what you call it, he even gave like a press conference about it, but it was like something for the future. But yeah, Portal version 3.0, you move your portals around on the screen and everything. He's like, yeah, Parsons was talking about it quite a lot, but it's like, and all of a sudden you see like, something flashes on the screen, and you're like, and you start to hear like his narration starts to slur and slow down. He's like, can't resist the god. Why don't you worship the god, director? And then he takes out the apparently modular camera and turns around so you can see his face, and he has the same glassed over eyes that all of you would recognize as the dude who you originally encountered had, with like like metal chromed over with like code going through them. He's like, I found a better group. I found a better god. I'll report to you sometime though. We'll do business, maybe. And then the thing just cuts right there.
That wasn't good.
Yeah, and actually, so technically, let's see here. Why don't you go and grasp for keys? Let's see what becomes of this. Technically, I should have had you roll for that before, but that part kind of eludes me. And are you spending any points on that?
Sure. I'll spend 1 on that, just because 1 is helpful. 8 plus 1 is 9. That's a hit.
Nice. All right. So yeah, so you uncover the key. So yeah, you basically, again, the reason I should have had you do this before is things could have turned out a lot more interestingly different if you'd gone high or low. But yeah, so this, as it works out, it's a good grasp. So yeah, you kind of got what you wanted. The subcontractor is no longer a subcontractor for you anymore at the moment. And, but you have your key. So it's time. Well, so you've all done your thing. It's time to adjourn to like your conference room, and it's just like the ultimate in bureaucratic hilarity. In that, like, you know, it looks like it's set up as your standard, like, you know, corporate conference room with, you know, like the whiteboard over here, which no one ever uses. The one time they did, like, a door to a different reality opened up as they draw something on it, you know. So they don't do that anymore, really. You have like a projector over here, that kind of thing. There's like a conference unit in the middle. But basically, it's like a place where you three can gather as a team, and kind of do what you do.
I have a specific chair with cutouts for my wings so that I can sit. No one takes my chair.
Oh, that is so cool. So what happened to the one time that a guy did take your chair?
We don't talk about the one time somebody took the chair.
Yeah, they've asked me not to tell the story anymore.
It actually, the story itself drives people to insanity and or worship.
We don't talk about the noodle incident.
Nice. Cool.
Nilsson doesn't have a chair. They just kind of go into the sitting position, you know, with knees bent and locked, whatever, and they just sit on thin air. You know, they can keep their balance and legs don't get tired, so
excellent.
So they can really sit anywhere they want.
How about Frank?
Frank brought a piece of furniture from his dimension.
God.
There is no words to describe it. It's just there, and you don't know if Frank is sitting, standing, laying down, or what. But
wrapped around it.
There it is. He's comfortable.
Wow. Which it would be like a torture device for literally anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right. So here's the scene where we kind of talk things over. You have a bunch of keys, and we want to try to unlock Doom's door. So basically, everybody gets to say, but let's brainstorm and come up with a theory as to what's going on. So as Jason pointed out earlier, I actually don't have an answer to you here. I don't know what that is. I have the keys, but it's the players, the characters that figure out what the thing is. So you'll basically put together a theory, make a roll on it. If it works, then your theory is right. Whatever the hell it is. I would assume if I was actually jamming this for real, I'd be like, it's got to follow the keys. You can't just make some ludicrous and having nothing to do with the keys type of explanation and have it be the one that's meaningless. But yeah, so I want you all to participate, add something to it. You know, let's, you know, make an argument for a theory or against a theory. I'm going to assume that you, at this thing, the first thing you do is put together all your keys. So all your scenes are now known to each other. You have the names of, you know, gods from books. You have, you know, you've been told about the subcontractor's feed, you know, about the conversation with mommy, and that kind of thing. So, and you have the other keys you found at the office, those being, you know, what the guy was saying, and etc. The web of people together, you know, that kind of thing. And feel free to ask each other for, you know, clarification if you don't quite remember. But this is kind of a big part because this is you telling the reality of the story of the thing potentially. So go for it. I leave you to RP.
Frank is going to raise a tentacle and go, all right, I have an idea. Maybe the dying plague god is trying to transfer its powers to a new host, so its main body will die, yet it can still live on.
Could be. It could be a remnant of it that's trying, as you say, to just trying to live, essentially.
Perhaps I have seen the fictions wherein sometimes people are able to turn their brainwaves into computer data and put that on a network and achieve immortality that way. Perhaps this is what this is doing. It is trying to become immortal in a computer instead of whatever broken shell it currently inhabits.
Cool. And also, just so you know, so this is leading up to the climactic scene. So you have to know, like, which I'd also put forward is where do we go to stop this? That's the other. That's another portion, and or who is it, or what's causing it. But as long as it's part of this theory, you know, you have a place to go. Then you're good. So okay, please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt. Just want to point.
There must be a reason it's happening now. Something changed. Someone connected this god to technology somehow.
Perhaps, as Im was saying before it broke the connection, that there was they had a thing, a computer thing, I believe that they had before they were supposed to. And perhaps the people who make this computer program that was acquired early, they are the ones who perhaps they have tapped into this divinity in order to create this amazing computer program. And now fragments of this god scatter to the winds as it is distributed around. And if we go to their headquarters, there we might be able to find the god or whatever the connection to the god is and be able to confront it and destroy it once and for all.
Frank's just going to do his tentacle and go, oh, like an Inca, like what I am. Because my real body is in a different dimension. So we need to destroy what is ever connecting this god to this plane.
Yes.
This is my plane.
I'm wondering now if this is some kind of startup. And this is like their business plan. They can forcibly convert, maybe they're controlling this remnant of a god. They can forcibly convert their customers, and then those customers will buy whatever their god tells them to buy. Maybe.
Ooh.
That is definitely sinister and would almost feel possible. Perhaps, yes, this program contains secret messages in which brainwash the masses into becoming mindless worshippers. We cannot have that.
No.
Well, not worshipping not Clarion, right?
Well, yeah. Obviously, they're edging into my territory here.
Yeah, Clayton's like, nope, absolutely not. Can't allow that.
What a dishonest way to get worshippers. I can't believe I didn't think of this.
Frank's just like, let them believe whatever they want. In the end, they'll still just be delicious for me.
All right. So okay, let's put together your theory in the 100 words or less form. What does that sound like? Who can put it all together?
Obviously, the coldly logical one. So, the startup behind this software has most likely tapped into some sort of evil divine power, and we will find the door at their headquarters where they have tapped into this power.
Excellent.
Power of some sort of plague, which very much fits the way that this brainwashing contagion has spread. A plague, like a computer plague.
Ooh. Cool. All right. Who wants to take the reins and unlock Doom's door, or try?
All right. Well, who feels lucky on their roll? Well, so we get a plus equal to the number of keys minus the difficulty of the mystery and complexity.
Right.
So what is that in total then?
I'm going to say that this is like a level 5 complexity. And let's see, you each have... So I think you have 6 keys. So you're at a +1.
Okay. +1's not bad.
No pressure.
All right. Well, who's feeling lucky? If nobody's feeling lucky, I'll roll it anyways, and they can all blame me.
Do it.
Sounds good.
All right. Everybody ready to blame me? 3, 2, 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. Hit it!
Yes. Thank goodness. So 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Yep, you have tracked down Doom's door. You know exactly where it is and how to unlock it. In addition, the Keeper will present an opportunity to protect what matters most, take down the Harbinger, or otherwise drive back the apocalypse. Cool. Okay, cool. So basically, yeah, you figured out that it's the place to hit it is Nanoware headquarters, which is in Los Angeles. Surprise. The opportunity I'll give you is that you each have you all have like a comm device to communicate with Division. If you do a signal, give it a signal at the right time, they can cut power completely to the building.
Nice.
Well, that'll be helpful.
Yeah, so that's your opportunity. We have to just play it at the right time. So we'll zip straight ahead in the face of brevity here to oh yes, please, Karen.
One thing. So on the break, I took Holy Symbol Arsenal as my advancement. So I'm going to just nip down to the arsenal, grab a thing, grab a holy symbol, just in case we need the extra firepower before we go.
Nice. What does the holy symbol look like?
It is a set of stone dice that belongs to a god of chance.
Nice. Oh, good job working into the campaign thing. Well, it's not a campaign. You know what I'm saying? Good job. It's almost like everything we do is based on the roll of a die, and other people control our destinies.
They're like these 6-sided dice.
Nice. All right. Anybody else do anything else? Hopefully you took your advances during the break.
Frank went and grabbed his special phone because I took the advancement, the Fey Liaison.
Oh my!
Back in the day, Frank had a uneasy alliance with the royal courts of the Fey because he was sleeping with the queen.
Again.
You can't help. Sorry, Frank. So
it's horror for the last time. Horror.
I'm sorry. What? Horror in dubs?
Hey, look! You cannot deny that an eldritch monstrosity is beautiful.
Once you're insane, yes.
Whenever I just need a call for help, I just use the special Fey phone they gave me. So I'm just going to bring that for backup.
Excellent. Nilsson, anything on your side? And would you choose as your advance?
My advance that I took was another shade move. Which one did I
You throw shade, literally.
Oh yes, the one Death walked here. When I can seek to reconstruct events or learn something valuable in an area, I get to spend darkness and roll. And if I'm lucky, death will show me exactly what happened here. Otherwise, it's anyhow. We're not going to talk about that.
Fair enough.
If I roll 2 heights, that's not my fault. That's clearly these enchanted stone dice fault.
Absolutely.
They're so lucky they always roll boxcars, right?
Nice.
Yeah, not my fault at all.
All right, cool. All right. So jumping ahead, you just gotten out of your transport truck. I'm not sure what you guys do to kind of psych yourselves up. Like, Frank's like, I'm totally gonna rule the universe. I'm totally gonna rule this dimension. It's all mine. I just have to do this one little thing for the division. Then they're a stepping stone. And then Clarion's like, they'll all worship me. They'll love me for everything about me. I am flawless in their eyes, and I will shine like a sun. And then you have Nilsson, who's just like, I got this. I'll Raggedy Andy them till they can't take anymore. It'll be the end of days. Oh God, he's a puppet. Yeah, at least you're not a Muppet. Now that would have been a truly horrific, thing for you to.
So really, am I a man or a Muppet?
We'll call you something between. We don't know that. All right. So yes. So yeah, you're at Nanaware headquarters. There's you kind of walk in, it's a normal corporate building, not unlike the one you originally were in before at the beginning of this adventure. And the there's a screen on the wall showing, Portal 6.6.6 coming your way soon. And it's the best upgrade ever. You'll love it forever. And as you guys, if you've unlocked this, use all your keys to unlock this, it's like, oh my God, it's like, humans, mortals, how can you be so freaking stupid? It's literally right there, written in front of your face. And you're paying them.
Some advertiser thought they were super clever with this 6.6.6
thing. they weren't. Spoiler alert. But so there's security guards at the door, not at the door, but at the desk behind, in front of the door, as you kind of go towards the elevators. And they kind of see the three of you coming, and your handler is kind of trying to catch up to you. What do you guys do? What do y'all do?
If they're not going to bother us, then they don't have to. Then they can just not bother us.
Well, they're going to bother you. They're seeing you coming, and they're definitely going to try to stop you or something, or call somebody or whatever.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I'll let somebody take the lead. Otherwise, I'll do something here.
Oh,
I'll try to mesmerize them.
Oh, cool.
Frank's a little annoyed that some other being's going to try to take his plane. He's summoning weapons from another dimension.
What are your weapons again?
Just weapons from elsewhere. So I think this time he'll summon some spears.
Oh my. Excellent. So how are you going to mesmerize them? Basically, are you looking at the basic move, Unleash the Dark to
I'm looking at my move, Call Me Master.
Ooh.
And I'm going to try and mesmerize the onlooking NPCs with my faded power.
Ooh, wow.
I will get my glow on and raise my wings a bit.
Nice.
And say, mortals, you do not wish to hinder us. Aid us in our quest to save your world.
Nice. All right. So first of all, I'm going to, on your sheet, if you'll notice, you feel others are beneath you or react with spite or arrogance. You get 2 to 4 darkness tokens. How many do you want out of that for this act?
I'll take 2.
All right. Marked on 2. All right. And make your roll.
Okay.
I'll let you use these 2 tokens if you want, or one of them, or none of them.
I would. I'll use both of them on this.
Oh, wow. Oh, this could be really interesting. Okay,
so
make your
it'll
roll.
be +2.
Yep.
It's 9.
9. Okay.
7 plus 2.
All right.
That's
It's not the 11 that we were waiting for. Like totally
Yeah.
like they dissolve in love for you. All right. So on a 8 to 10, you have claim new worshippers. Good job. Choose one. They will fulfill a single command exactly as you wish. They will grant you new temporary powers. Describe them, or they will create a place of worship and power in your name.
I will have them fulfill my single command, which is aid us in our quest, if that counts. Aid us in finding the source of this computer plague.
Yeah, so as they're kind of looking at you and the brilliance that you're putting off, there's that they're looking at you and their eyes are wide. There's that gleam in their eye and you see this like they're on the verge of insanity with love for you and worship for you. And it's just, this is beyond any experience they could have ever dreamed of. Just your presence. And the guys both are armed security guards. They get out their guns and they're like, We'll take you wherever you want. If you're looking for the computer stuff, it's up in the server room on floor 13.
Thank you. Will you escort us? Will they escort me?
They'll follow you. You already got what you want. They're gonna get you up there. They're gonna like hit any key cards or whatever. But after that they'll follow you worshipingly.
All right. We have our location. Let's go.
All right. What are y'all doing? Now that you have 2 armed security guards in tow in worshipful adoration of Clarion.
Well, I suppose it's just time to follow them and see what happens.
Nice.
They know where they're going. They can go first. It's not like I can be a meat shield.
Yeah, there is that. Nice.
Frank's gonna hide in their shadows.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so that's interesting. If they move like fast and unexpectedly, you see Frank kind of dip out of their shadow every now and then. You know, as like proof that he's actually still there, if there is such a thing as him being there at all. And yeah, they actually have to hit a key card to kind of get you up to the 13th floor. Yes, I did use the 13th and 666 in the same campaign, but it's a one shot. You got to put it all on the table. And there is a 13th floor, of course, and of course the server room is there, right? Because if there was ever going to be a unlucky floor, that is it. So yeah, the doors open and everything is bathed in this green glow. And it seems to be coming from the opposite side. You have these racks and racks and rows of servers. And it's just like you can see there's a central corridor as they move, as they're like, off to the sides of you, like you're walking down the center of like a library with, bookshelf. And then an open area on the far side where there's all this glowing coming from. What do y'all do?
I'll go straight for the green. See if I can get the source of the green.
Okay. Are you using any of your powers or anything, or just kind of meandering over?
Yeah, no time to waste. I'll be using my supernatural speed to get over there lickety split.
Cool.
And then just take a look at what there is once I can see it.
So there is a guy. And he's sitting in the middle of this circle of glowing green runes. And not unlike the guy you originally encountered, he also has a whole bunch of cables coming out of his skull and going into various things. But unlike the other guy who had like, a dozen, he has hundreds. It's all these tendrils and they're going, you can see the cables. They go, okay, it goes to that server, that one, and then like it becomes obvious to you in a second that he's literally connected to all of the machines in this room. And the face looks familiar. Im kind of showed an image of like a little clip of the press conference, and this is Eric Parson, the owner of this Nanoware, and he's like, "Well, hello there, good customer. Would you like a look at Portal 666?"
I need you to disconnect yourself from all networks immediately. Do as you are told, or there will be consequences.
I'll say you haven't quite triggered it yet. You haven't shown that you're more powerful than him or anything. He has no reason to obey you. So or else you would like trigger the basic move, Unleash the Dark. Yeah, you're not really showing him anything yet. So he's like, I can give you a discount. Everybody should have a copy. Everybody will have a copy. We won with Portal.
Frank wants to appear now. He wants to make a little shadow portal underneath the dude. See, I'm going to show you what a real god looks like.
Ooh, so
It's he's overreacting with violence because the idea is he's going to send him to his stomach.
oh, interesting. What is that a move?
It's just shadow control. Just the idea of shadow control.
Oh, gotcha.
Just send him to. So just the idea would be just to bloop, suck him into the shadow, which is Frank.
Interesting. All right, so yeah, so you're actually taking a person, potentially a very powerful one, into another dimension. So let's and also in looking to like try other moves. Let's do your power. Say you triggered power through darkness. When you push limits of your supernatural powers, straining to do the extraordinary or avert imminent danger, spend darkness tokens and roll.
And I am actually overreacting with violence. So
What
does that mean? Again, it's not a move, right? It's just like you're...
No, just gaining darkness tokens, sorry. That's what I just meant.
His starting move is when you're... Well, actually, that won't trigger it because you're doing power through darkness, and that move only triggers when you unleash.
Oh, right, you're right. Never mind. So let's just roll it.
Roll. Do you have any tokens you want to spend?
I mean, the only thing is I've just felt a little unloved because Nielsen won't acknowledge me.
All right, I'll give you... How many tokens you want out of that? I would say 2 is fair.
Exactly. I was just going to say 2.
All right, go for 2.
Yeah.
That's a lot of unlove.
Oh no, we get a 6.
Even after.
Even after.
Yep.
Oh,
And a +1 won't help you here. You could do +2.
You can burn multiple bonds on a roll if you really want to.
Yep.
Oh.
What is it? Power through darkness. Otherwise, the keeper will offer you something connected to what the darkness demands of you. Whether or not you take it, prepare for the worst.
I want it. Let's do that. I want that.
Right,
let's do that.
Let the roll fail.
All right, we're going to let the roll.
This sounds more fun. Let's do it.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so basically this is kind of like an act under pressure almost in another game, where basically you can, I suppose am I giving you something, whether or not you take it, prepare for the worst. So it's like, if you take what I offer, does that mean then you succeed in a way, or at least partially? Is that what that's adding, or is it just like this is completely separate from what he was trying to do?
Yeah, he's failed at what he's tried to do, and an opportunity chooses, and so he gets to choose between something horrible and something terrible.
Excellent. All right.
In other PBTA, this would fall under make them make a hard choice.
Right. Okay. So
you give them a choice, but it's bad no matter which way they go.
Yeah.
Interesting. So here's what we do. So the portal that opens up is you've opened it. You've miscalculated as to its origin. It's actually one of your, if you could call it, a sibling. You can definitely wipe him out of this equation, but in doing so, you're going to empower your sibling over you. They will now have an edge and power over you in taking over any given dimension, including this one.
Oh, son of a biscuit! Nope.
All right. So yeah, you see. So, Claren, are you popping up too at this point?
I'm here. I'm waiting to see what Frank's gonna do. He was all talking big about the shadow portal. I see it open. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting.
Yeah, so the shadow portal opens, and kind of like one of those kind of like weird ass Zen moments. The guy, it looks to be floating, but like something out of Hellraiser, he's not floating. He's being held up by all the wires coming out, the hundreds of wires coming out of his skull. So he's levitating above it, and the thing, you can see like little tendrils come out of it, like grasping, like wanting to devour what's out there. I want it so bad. And then just kind of sink back as it just is rejected, both by him being, in essence, levitated and probably a bit of the power that it's putting off. So yeah, it closes up.
What happened?
The wrong address, so to say, and I am not making my brother more powerful.
I see.
All right. How about so Nilsson or Claren? What are your thoughts on this one? What you doing?
Well, I guess it's time to. Well, I can't let him keep doing this. So, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Well, obviously, I need to stop him. And so I am going to use my shadow magic to plunge the area into darkness by magnifying the shadows until they overtake everything. And hopefully he's blinded in the dark. I'm not. And I'm simply going to run up to him, run around him, run circles around him, and just as fast as I can try and yank all of these cords out of his head.
Ooh. All right. Why don't you power through darkness too then?
That is awesome. I like that one.
Okay. I will spend 2 on this.
Ooh. This could be scary. Could be scary. Or not.
Yeah, no.
There's no chance to make this better.
Oh dear.
That would take 3 bonds to try, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's all.
All right. So, I don't know. You need to give me a hard choice based on what the darkness wants from me.
Ooh, so what does the darkness want from? So let's see here.
To break the veil between living and dead, or to shatter the sun, plunging the world into eternal night.
Nils, oh man, you're just making Frank fall more in love with Nils. That's all that's happening right now.
All right, so let's see here. I'll say so. The darkness, the darkness wants you to make an ally of them, because they have the best possibility to help break that veil. They're a god that transcends the mortal coil, so that could help if you actually were to help them. It would advance your connection to darkness. Otherwise, you would see this as maybe you could do this thing for the darkness, but it might overwhelm you. So it's like if you try to help it or minimize the damage to it. It could help you, but it could also it could help their darkness, but could overwhelm you. This god might be more powerful than you, basically. Not sure if I did very well on that one, but we'll go with it just to.
Oh, I know how to go with this. And so as I attempt to pull out all the cords leading to place, everyone I yank on it, nothing comes loose. As the shadow grows around me, around us, and I feel it contracting, being drawn inside of him, drawing me inside of him.
Ooh.
And I realize that while I am powerful, I am almost as I am the spider. Well, he is the spider, and I am the fly being drawn into his web. And only if I react now do I have a chance to escape.
Ooh.
So the last thing I could do is to summon up all the dregs and shadow to try to concentrate at one point and forcibly push it deeper into him, deeper into this god, and the resulting explosion of the energy sends me flying across the room, slamming up against the wall and slumping down to the floor as I just barely managed to sever my connection at the last possible moment.
Ooh, wow.
Unfortunately, the powerful impact has caused several of my limbs to detach from my artificial body.
They're doll limbs. They're doll limbs. Just saying.
And while the limbs can kind of move on their own, you know, a single leg doesn't exactly walk by itself and whatnot. The one thing you do not hear is me saying "ow." I don't say "ow." I'm more like, but it is very weird to hear a dismembered doll gasping for breath.
Oh wow! When it doesn't really even breathe. All right. So Clarion, this
right.
darkness just happened. It was like you know, like that whiff of air that passes by you when Nilsson takes off at super speed. Well, you felt that, and then suddenly everything was dark, and even your light was kind of pressed against you. It was almost like you know how like your light is exerting a physical force on the darkness, and darkness is pushing back. That kind of effect on you. And finally, the shadow dissipates, your light breaks through, and you still see the guy, the glowing green dude, floating in the air, carried aloft by all these cables. What does Clarion do?
So this whatever this is definitely high powered. I'm gonna draw on my holy symbol arsenal that I got.
Ooh.
I have been the servant of a god before, so I will suppress my divinity in order to act like a servant once more and hope that he can help me. So I will take 3 levels of divine vulnerability.
Ooh.
Which lets me add a +3 to the roll.
Ooh, wow.
And
what are you rolling for? What's this move that you're triggering?
It's a division move called Holy Symbol Arsenal. If it's an 8 to 10, I can pick a number of actions based on the divine vulnerability. So I can bind a target and render them helpless. I could protect a mind, heart, or soul from possession or attack, create an area of divine protection, create a temporary divine weapon. And if it's an 11 plus, things get a lot more violent and messy.
All right, cool. Go ahead. Let's make your roll.
Okay, not low. Oh, that'll be a 9. It's a 6 plus 3.
All right. So you're in the 8 to 10. So the darkness and divine energy synchronize to activate the hymn of the righteous. So yeah, choose a number of actions based on your scale of divine vulnerability. So that you chose 3.
Yeah.
Yep. And then in addition, gain 1 bond with the divine entity that aids you. Ooh. Neat. All right, so choose.
So I'm going to bind the guy with all the wires going into him and render him helpless. Chains of my light bind him to his chair. And then, since I can protect a mind from possession, I'm going to try to push out whatever has possessed him. As I pull these wires from his mind, and I will create an area of divine protection. So whatever this is tries to become manifest, it won't be able to attack the people in the room, at least for a while.
Neat. Cool. So what does that all look like? Your light shines out and kind of wraps around the cables and pulls them out. What does like the other part look like when he's like has the possession forced out of him? What does that divine area look like when you do it?
It almost has this tessellated effect of light and dark that looks like light overlapping cubes, like the dice of this god of chance that she has made herself a servant of for a while. And once she has him wrapped in these chains of light, Clarion puts her hand on his forehead and does the very traditional, I cast you out, and starts pulling wires.
That's cool. Awesome. All right, yeah, so he is disconnected. The light fades to something normal. It's like all these cables are everywhere. This is like a tech dude's nightmare. If he was walking and see all these cables just lying on the floor unconnected to something. The guy is the jacks in his skull don't heal. Things are so like the possession is forced out of him, but the change is not. So he kind of looks up at you, and he looks into your eyes, and you can see him just fading away. He's like,
worship me before you go.
Yeah, he's like, you're so beautiful. And that's the last thing he says.
I have saved your soul, at least. And I let go.
All right. So again, this is not my best work, but I'm trying to get through some playtesting of this, and see how things can work out. So we have come to the end of our story, and good job. You defeated the darkness and staved off the end of days once again. Certainly not your first, certainly not your last time. So yeah,
Clarion, can I have a bit of help here?
Yes, your limbs. Yes, we can definitely help with that.
I find myself to be slightly discombobulated.
just
I will collect limbs and bring them over to Nelson.
That's a sad state of affairs, but there we are.
And Frank, you need to work out your sibling drama, okay? That's the second time it's gotten in the way of a mission. Just talk to him.
No, the last time we talked, there was a planet called Pluto. Now there isn't.
No, it's not a planet.
That was you.
Bastard, I love that planet. All right, cool. All right, so the adventure's over. You have saved the day. So what are your thoughts? Again, there's so much I didn't cover just because there's not time. There was so much about like the attachments to the others in the group, the attachments to NPCs, and like love and like yearning and all this other stuff that we just don't have time to cover in a single playtesting session. But what are your thoughts on the system here? Like, what would you like? We'll do the rose and the thorn. So one thing you like, one thing you dislike. Who wants to start us off?
I find failure to be more fun than when you actually succeed on a roll. Especially at the end, when the powering through darkness, I like the idea of when you fail because it just makes it a little more fun in the end.
All right, it's cool. You're building towards some other drama in the future, so it's the system's bringing you back to building your relationships or your drives.
Mm-hmm. And then the only other one thing I didn't really like is that they give us all these great options for horror, but then they give one nod to cosmic, eldritch, Lovecraftian horror, and there's so much more you could do with that. And I feel it's like you give it's just in the origin. I summon from the grasp of will remake us all. It's like, unless I wasn't a huge Lovecraft fan, I wouldn't have had any idea what to do with that.
I get you.
And it just feels like they could actually make a whole other playbook just from Eldritch horror instead of just putting one little nod in the summon.
Right, I get you. Yeah, so it's like there's so much more to be done with that. Why waste it on like a little tiny portion of what the summon could be? That's
exactly.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe there is yet more playbooks to come that we just haven't seen. Cool.
Oh, true.
But yeah, that's awesome. I'll put this all in the description too, so if anybody should see it from them, they'll realize that, and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, this is good stuff. Who wants to go next? Who has a rose and a thorn for the system?
Like you said, it felt kind of a bit almost too abstract and very directionless. It's like, okay, like, grasping at keys, but, why are we not just constantly doing it? Because in part, it doesn't really seem to matter what we're doing. We can always find a key anyways, because the key, it's not like we're trying to find a specific something. We're just kind of rolling to see whether or not we get a clue, which is very good for like moving a mystery on. But yeah, it does feel very sort of directionless. And it feels like there isn't anything to really prompt you to do anything else unless you like directly put an obstacle in the way. So maybe a bit more concrete direction on that. And like moves are very, very thematic, but a lot of them obviously are very open to interpretation, but it almost feels like they're too open. So it's like even subcontractors, it's like, oh, well, they can give you some information, but not necessarily much. It's like, okay, what's the information good for? Does that give me a key, or does that do something else? I'm not really sure. On the upside, I definitely like the you want to roll in the middle. You don't want to get too much. I've seen one or two other games that kind of use that. One of them was like it was based on trophy, but you used the D6 for most of your skills. But if you went and tapped into the supernatural force, you would add a D10 to your pool. But if your highest die was like a 7 or higher, then you went too far into like the supernatural singularity and bad stuff happened. It's kind of like this, but it was, I guess, a bit harder to trigger than that. You had to directly tap into that power in order to roll high enough. Whereas, in this case, even with no darkness tokens, you still got like a 1 in 12 chance of that happening.
Right.
Like no matter on any roll.
Yeah, it really feeds into the concept that you guys are powerful creatures. You're powerful monsters. It's like Superman, he has to hold back a little bit or he's going to punch through everybody he punches. That kind of thing. And so it's like, it kind of feeds into that whole feel of like, you're so freaking powerful. You might do it better, badder, stronger than you ever wanted, and that's bad. That you are so powerful. I think this is a singular game I played where that's kind of the case. But yeah, I see what you're getting at.
And it was also interesting just using the darkness tokens rather than having any kinds of attributes or stats. And yeah, we didn't really lean into them much because people don't know the system, but like each of the playbooks has a number of ways to gain those tokens. Which, so to gain the tokens, it's asking you to lean into role-playing the style of your playbook.
Right, so it's rewarding you for playing your playbook, basically.
Frank the Summoned would get tokens for feeling unloved or abandoned or overreacting with violence, or asking someone to give me the best shot and not hold back.
Right, gotcha.
Or asking someone to love me and only ever me.
Clarion.
And right, whereas as a shade, I would get tokens for feeling ignored or unimportant, reacting with cold reason and logic, asking somebody to follow instructions, or asking someone to ignore their heart.
Right. So it rewards you for playing your playbook, basically, is the bottom line.
Yeah, but we didn't end up doing that a whole lot. I'm not sure the expectation of how often rolls are made in this, I guess. Because some games expect a lot of rolls and some games don't, so...
Right. Cool. Yeah, Jenna, go ahead.
So I think gaining the darkness tokens is actually kind of my thorn here. Just because it's difficult to understand to me when you do it. Like, my first one is feel others are beneath me. Well,
that's
Clarion,
all the time.
Yeah, that's all the time. How do I know when that's like a very specific thing? And it's not an action, it's just her inner dialogue of someone is beneath me. So how would you even know that I was necessarily feeling that? And so it becomes a thing where like the player's just awarding themselves points, I guess, as you go along. And would you even bring up that you just gave yourself darkness tokens? I mean, even something like react with spite or arrogance. I mean, again, that was like half of her lines. Reacting with arrogance. So was I just always getting one? Can I decide not to get one even though I'm doing it all the time?
Right.
Like, it seemed unclear to me. And when you got them just seemed like too common an occurrence or not defined enough of an occurrence to really understand what was worth getting a darkness token.
Right. And I think, and just to kind of follow on what you're saying, like the way the system is working, like if you make a move and you end up with more than 4 darkness points, you immediately have to do that thing, choose between humanity and darkness or whatever. I forget what exactly it was. But if you're always doing it, you're almost, it's like, it's on one side, it's rewarding you for playing your playbook by giving you darkness tokens. And on the other side, it's punishing you for getting these darkness tokens because you're eventually going to rack up so many that you can't burn them fast enough not to constantly be playing against the, humanity and darkness. So yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. At the very least, I don't think the word feel should be part of it for something you're awarded, because that's an internal thing, and you can always say you feel some way. I don't know.
Sure,
that doesn't work for me.
It makes a lot of sense. What's your rose for this then?
My rose is that I love the flavor of this whole thing, and I love some of the options for both for success and failure. I wanted so badly to get 11 plus on that holy symbol arsenal because it would have been insane. So I do like the potential for just massive derailment of any scene.
Over the topness by just happens, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I guess the thing that goes along with that, though, is that you do have the potential of one character just like ending a scene without the other characters getting a move off. Like if the shadow portal had worked, I don't know what you were thinking, but if it had worked and he was just ingested, then the rest of us are like, okay, well, Frank did it. Clock out.
Yeah, right.
We're done.
Well, I think also that the again, I have to look a little deeper, but I think they have like, just like in again, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with the mask system, but it's like you have you can't just take out an enemy with one blow. You have to get their conditions. So like you have to get them like 3 times. If he has 3 conditions available, each condition has to be triggered before he's actually defeated. So like maybe for example, the the darkness sucked him under, but those wires are still coming out, feeding him power. So now the next one can do something, and maybe the next one can try something. So that's my best answer to that. But I totally see, but again, I completely and utterly see where you're coming from, because it was, all these moves are potential scene enders. If it's not a really powerful being, one character can just jump in, do the thing, and the others are spectators. And I kind of,
especially power through darkness can very much be a scene ender.
Right. Right. So yeah, again, and I'm as you all know, I'm big on trying to get the spotlight on everyone, and it's so hard because it's like, Clarion was the powerhouse here, so okay, let Clarion do the punchy, and we'll, the slicey, and we'll wait behind and clean up if she needs it, and then it's like, well, she did need it, so I guess we just kind of sit here, and I felt a little bad for the other guys because Clarion was so good at what she does.
Well, that's why,
awesome.
Like, at the end, I let everyone else do their moves, because I'm like, if this works, I don't know how you go forward from it, so I'll just wait till the end and see if it's necessary.
Cool. So what is that about you, Scott, that you always end up with people playing Fallen Angels that like to punch?
Yeah, they always want to punch. I don't know what's up with those Fallen Angels. You're not the first. But, well, she slices, actually. Clarion slices and dices. She's like the Ginsu of the Fallen Angel world, really. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, so mine are very similar. I suppose my big one is, again, from the GM point of view, I'm used to the concept of like the Power by the Apocalypse playing to find out, but I'm not used to the concept of being completely out of control as to what the hell happens. Like I can put keys in front of you. I can put like a whole bunch of keys in front of you, but I still have no idea kind of what's coming. Like if I'm looking as a GM, I'm looking for a specific effect. Like I want I want this to happen, as a possibility here so that the players can feel this, or if this challenge is there, this or that. But the system kind of takes it away from me. It's like, well, I provide the keys, but whatever theory you guys use is it, if the role works. So it kind of takes the power away from me to kind of put you in rewarding or interesting situations for you. It makes it a lot harder. And also I just want to put out that a lot of the stuff was really complex. Like I'm looking for one of the things, it was like, just like too much. I think it was one of the playbooks. Let's see here. Where were we? I can't remember quite what it was, but it was like it was between like the breaking point or something like that. Oh man, I'm trying to. I hate saying things without being able to give examples. I think it was. I was looking at the summoned. So okay, yeah. So let's see. So the breaking point. The world is not your own. You never will be. The dream that is humanity can never belong to you. The darkness grips your heart and world, and your summon, the one you were summoned from bleeds into this one. You're a beacon for what has been aching to reach this world. Describe what terrors are unleashed and an aspect of your terrible prophecy come to pass, etc., etc. And it was just like, there was just so much where it's like, I can only wing so much. I can only improv so much. It's like, you're asking me for like this weird combination of things. And I really would love to give a better example, but I can't quite find it. It was like, tell about, how the absurdity of humanity and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I can't come up with that fast enough. It's just not in me. Give me some more specific things, or don't make it so convoluted, like to, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But, but yeah, I found,
think-
yeah, go ahead.
I think just another thing is one of the bonds they're missing that should be there is what ties you to humanity.
Oh,
Because I feel like it's not really established. I don't know why Clarion cares, or why she wouldn't just try to convert everyone and then go storm heaven. Like, why is she messing with the division?
Oh, that's such a great question. Oh,
and
wow.
This kind of the same thing with Frank. You were talking about like consuming the universe.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
why aren't you just doing that?
Exactly. What made me stay with the division?
Especially when your bonds are with the other monsters. Be like, why don't you just partner up and you'll take it over with believers and followers, and he'll eat everything else, and everybody gets what they want. Why care?
Yeah. I mean, it is possible to develop bonds with humans and other people, and even with enemies. Certain moves allow you to gain bonds with other characters. You just start off with the ones for the other members of the group and what your darkness wants.
Yeah, but it's still you have a bond of the darkness, but you don't have, again, there's no what are you getting out of this?
I feel like that needs to be a starting bond, either a bond with the division, or a bond with humanity, or a bond with the light. Like one or more of those.
Yeah, that's
should
really well
happen
put.
from the beginning.
Yeah, well put. Cool. That's all I got. So yeah, we're actually over our time. So thank you all for playing. I just want to say, let's say goodbye to the players real quick. And again, I appreciate them doing this. I'm sure, the writers and distributors of Apocalypse Keys also appreciate it. But let's say goodbye to Jenna.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you for running the game.
Excellent. Happy to run it. And Brian.
Thank you so much for allowing me to join.
Awesome. And Jason.
Thank you so much for joining us despite your recent difficulties. Hi. Bye.
All right, with that, I am ScottsCaseFiles, and hope to see you again soon on another role-playing game day or video game day or whatever. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and let's get the heck out of here, and hopefully the apocalypse does not consume us anytime in the near future. Let's hope not. All right, bye for now.